Okay.
Take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. And we're going to go ahead and get started now.
Okay, thank you. We are going to talk about Safe House Center services and who we are a little bit. My name is Laura Hayner Dane, and I'm the volunteer coordinator at Safe House Center. And so we have volunteer opportunities coming up, and also we do these awesome speaking engagements as well. So if you are interested, we are going to be passing out a lot of information to you today. So hopefully we can connect.
Mhm. And my name's Amy Merkel, and I am the Sexual Assault Services Coordinator here at Safe House Center. And so just to get us started, we just wanted to let everyone know what the mission of Safe House Center is, and that is to empower survivors of both sexual and intimate partner violence by providing them advocacy, support, and promoting social change within our community. Our goal is to essentially build communities that are absolutely free of domestic violence and sexual assault. What we're going to do here is show you a tour because we can't have you all coming into the building and seeing all the spaces. So we definitely want to share a little bit with you on what that looks like.
Well, thank you for letting us share that video with you. We wanted to share a little bit about also our eligibility and our philosophy. So Safe House Center, we focus on serving those who are affected by intimate partner violence in relation to domestic violence and also for sexual assault. Our funding services do restricts us in a way that we only can serve intimate partner violence. So if it is a family member conflict that is going on, for example, we would refer them to other community resources. And all of our services are based around the philosophy of that the people who are coming to us as service participants want to be in our services. So we focus on the historical aspect of understanding that there is oppression in our society. We focus on that the peer aspect, that the survivors are the experts in their situation. They know what's best for them. And that leads us into that empowerment model where they are provided with all the resources and all the information, but they have the right to self-determination, privacy, and confidentiality. All of our services are free and confidential, and we service everyone who works, lives, attends school, or were assaulted in the Washtenaw County area. But they just, one of our eligibilities, and they do have to identify as a survivor of domestic violence, intimate partner, or sexual assault.
So here's an overview of our services, and we're going to be going into the next few slides and talking about all of the different services that we provide. So right here, I just want to give a little bit of a history lesson, and that is in 1975 is when the Domestic Violence Project started, and that was by a group of volunteers, and that's when we started providing services for domestic violence survivors. In 1987 was when our 24-hour response team was created, and you'll learn about that in the coming slides. 1992 is when Washtenaw County voters approved the millage for to fund the publicly accessible building, which is where we are today. on Clark Road. And then we added sexual assault services in 2003. And then in 2005, we changed our name from the Domestic Violence Project, Inc. to Safe House Center.
So one of the main services and hub of and not only our service participants, but anyone can actually call our 24-hour helpline. You don't have to be in crisis to use that phone number, which is 734-995-5444. But that is a 24-hour program, and you can always get a real life person on the other end of that phone. We're there as helpline workers to process experiences, provide information, options, resources, give people information about our services, and complete any referrals that anyone needs, whether it's to get into our services or if they don't fit our eligibility. We're there with a huge resource finder, and it has a lot of our barrier buster partners on there. And so we refer a lot of people to other options if we are able to help them. I also want to note that if someone does not speak English, we actually have a language line translation program, which has 140 languages available. So if anyone is, in needing of that interpretation services, that we do have those options available to us on that, on all of our service capacities. We also have a emergency shelter program. That is where everyone, I think, is most knows us for, is that we have a temporary shelter program for survivors, and also for their children if they are interested. We have 20 bedrooms, which about 50 beds, and they share a large living space, a kitchen, dining room, and a playground, which is what you saw in our video. During their stay, they're assigned a worker that helps them through that process of whatever they're needing, and gives them that referral process, and helps them through options and assisting them, also with helping their children get into the school enrollment, any transportation, and also housing referrals as well. So we do a lot of safety planning with them. We do a lot of coming up with some options and information and making sure they have everything that they need to self-determine what decision they need to make, to kind of move forward out of the shelter program and into the next steps. Then we have our support group program. Our support group program is a space that really gets together in a collective unit that we come and talk about confidential information around the survivor's healing journey when they have been abused by someone, whether it's sexual assault or domestic violence. And as you can see on our presentation, we have a bunch of groups. We have a group almost running every single day. And we have different groups based on victimization. So we have a sexual assault group that runs on Monday nights. And we have also an LGBTQI sexual assault group on Tuesdays, a Black women's empowerment, both sexual assault and domestic violence victimization group, a male sexual assault group that's on Wednesday nights. We do offer a Spanish speaking domestic violence and sexual assault support group on Wednesdays, and then the female identified domestic violence support group on Thursdays. I should also clarify our sexual assault drop-in group on Mondays is also female identified. Each survivor has experience is very unique, and it's super helpful to talk to others who are going through the same things, going through similar situations. And currently we're on Zoom as well. So we have that opportunity for anyone, if it's not safe for them to leave or anything like that, that space in that moment that they can actually attend our sessions on Zoom. For our minors that are survivors between the ages of 14 and 17, we do have to have parental consent in order for them to come and attend our services as well.
So we also provide crisis support and advocacy. And so these are our one-on-one services. So we provide short-term individual crisis support up to 6 months. And that's where advocates are able to meet with survivors of both sexual assault and domestic violence in a supportive, non-judgmental space to talk about how the trauma has affected them and help them gain coping skills and help start that healing process. So often we're helping them identify reactions to trauma, the anger, fear, shame that they're feeling. We assist them with safety planning, coping mechanisms, and exploring their support systems. We also are able to work with the non-offending friends and family members, usually up to a couple sessions, because the main purpose we're here is for survivors. But we have found that working with the friends and family of the survivor is really helping the survivor down their healing path. And so we're able to provide that listening ear and their own space to talk about what they're going through. And the same thing goes with the 14 to 17-year-old. So for the individual, we would need parental consent for this service as well. We also have legal advocacy. So our legal advocates provide information about the court proceedings, the law, the practice of the criminal and civil justice system. We also provide support to the survivor. So we have legal advocates in all of the court jurisdictions for sexual assault and domestic violence. And so our advocates are liaisons between the court system and the prosecutor's office. And so even though our advocates are not, we don't provide uh, like legal help, like we're not lawyers, we don't provide any advice in that way. We provide the information so that survivors can make those informed decisions. And as one can imagine, that sometimes the court process can be quite daunting and overwhelming. And so we're there to be that advocate, explain what's happening, and simply also be there as a support system and be there in person in court, if it's in person, or on Zoom, if it's on Zoom, and be there to be supportive. We're there from start to finish. So when the court, once charges are authorized, all the way through the court proceeding till sentencing. And I believe we're still trying to catch up through after, or not we, but the court system after COVID. So we've, some of the cases have been going on a couple of years now. So that's a relationship that essentially the legal advocates make with the survivors. And then obviously the legal advocates can let survivors know about the other services that we provide, and they also provide crisis intervention. So we also have, can provide the assistance to provide and fill out paperwork for personal protection orders. We also have a personal protection order advocate that splits her time downtown at the PPO office as well as at Safe House. And we can also make referrals for civil legal assistance. So that would be things like divorce, custody, and immigration, things like that. Safe House also works as part of the response team. So we are part of a 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, providing immediate responses to survivors of sexual assault and intimate partner violence. So we receive calls from Washtenaw County local hospitals and the law enforcement. So when someone, a report has been filed that they've either been sexually assaulted or hurt physically by an intimate partner, the hospitals and law enforcement call us. And so we're either following up with the survivor in person at the hospital or over the phone. And what we're doing there is we're letting them know what about our services. So again, like the legal advocacy. So that's helpful to know that we can have someone let them know what to expect next, what that process looks like, letting them know about all of our services, so where they can get support if they need to, if they're interested in completing a personal protection order, things like that. And we're also there to, during those times, is to listen and process. We might be the first person to talk to them that might have a better understanding than a friend or a family member about the concepts of domestic violence and sexual assault. So we're listening to them and validating their experiences. And so, you know, we'll accompany them at the hospital. Sometimes it can take up to 3 hours if someone's going through a sexual assault examination after being sexually assaulted, that the nurse is taking evidence and going through that forensic evidence process. So yeah, like I said, we're there to provide information and also be a supportive person while they're there during that time.
And as I shared in my introduction, we do a lot of community outreach through education and information. And so we have this opportunity for anyone available in our Washtenaw community. I just connected with a Community Action Network where we're going to be doing a resource table for one of their upcoming events. So we can provide resource tables if you're having an event coming up. We also can provide educational presentations like we are doing today on our services or on topics specific like domestic violence, intimate partner violence, sexual assault, teen dating violence. And also we can come in and do professional trainings if someone is interested in having us come to an all staff meeting. I've done that for Ann Arbor Housing Commission and Jewish Family Services in the past, where we come in and do a specialized training for their particular programs. So if you are interested in gathering more information about that, you can go to our website or reach out directly to me as well, which is speakersbureau@safehousecenter.org. So thank you for letting us come and share. So we're just gonna open it up. If you have any questions, we'll be here and we look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Are there any questions or anything we want to talk about now for this presentation? Okay. Well, we will go and move on. So our next presenter is from WCC. Stephanie, do you want to go ahead and share your screen and run your presentation?
For sure. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Stephanie Croft from Washtenaw Community College. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen okay? All right, awesome. Thank you. So I'm excited to share with you all today about a few opportunities at Washtenaw Community College. One of the primary opportunities I'm going to share with you all about is a program we have that we launched in the fall of 2023 called Advanced IPSY. So our goal is to help individuals around Washtenaw County to advance their future. So. I don't know if you can use the emoji signs, but by a show of hands, how many people have heard of 60 by 30? Does anyone? No, people, I may see a few nods, maybe not. So just for context, 60 by 30 is a goal by the state of Michigan to increase the number of working aged adults with a skilled certificate or college degree by 2030. So increasing that from we're about 50 and a half to about 51% today to 60% by 2030. And this particular goal with 60 by 30 is centered around one, closing the skills gap. How can we get more residents of Michigan to have various skills that would allow for them to secure certain levels of employment? Another goal of this is tied to that is helping families with securing that employment that will allow for them to have family sustainable wages, as well as it's an opportunity to continue to drive the economy in Michigan when we have more people who are working and in employment. That allows for folks to be able to take care of their families and ultimately continue to drive the economy of the state. So if you've never heard of 60 by 30, I want to encourage you to definitely visit this website and see this overall goal that the state of Michigan has at this time, and potentially how your organization may be contributing to that with the services and things that you all provide. So as we look at that particular goal that the state has by 2030, WCC in particular has been deeply rooted and committed to the Eastern Washtenaw County for 20 years. Many of you may be familiar with the former location Harriet Street Center, which was located on the corner of Harriet Street and Hamilton. We were co-located with Michigan Works Southeast. And so we also moved our offices when Michigan Works moved their offices to Ellsworth Center. We're located at 1201 Ellsworth. So we have that extension site. And then we have Park Ridge Community Center, which is located on the corner of Armstrong and Harriet Street. And that particular center provides a number of programs and services throughout the year. So of course, with our goal to continue to support the community, we knew that there was more that we can do. And so from the 60 by 30 goal, there was a regional group comprised of community colleges, access organizations, and others to really look at what we can do as a region, as educational institutions to drive that 60 by 30 goal. So WCC received a grant from the Ralph Wilson Foundation of about $2 million. And that particular grant allowed for us to develop a program called Advanced IPSI that I'm going to share with you all information about today. So Advanced IPSI, initially with this program, when we first launched it, we had a sole focus in a couple of zip codes, 48197 and 48198. But we realized that there are not only individuals in IPSI that can benefit, but individuals around Washtenaw County. So our goal with the Advanced IPSI program is to enroll 300 individuals, either individuals who are in high school and they can do dual enrollment, which I'll talk a little bit about that in a couple slides, or adults in the community. And our goal is to assist them in enrolling in some of our certificate programs in the areas of manufacturing, automotive, and IT. The 8 programs are listed here. As you can see, there's a variety of options in these fields of manufacturing, automotive, and IT. And these particular programs are anywhere from as low as about 14 credit hours all the way up to 30 credit hours. And when we think about credit hours from a college perspective, many of us have experienced this. You can go full-time, part-time. You could take a couple classes a semester. You could take a full load, 3 or 4 classes, depending upon your schedule and availability. But all of these certificate programs, there's a reason which I'll show on the next slide why these particular programs were selected. An exciting thing about each of these certificates, all 8 of them, with the exception of the automotive cybersecurity, all of them are what we call stackable credentials. And what that means is that if you're someone in one of your programs or things like that, say, yes, I want to start off with a certificate, for instance, in robotics. They can start that certificate. That certificate leads to them being able to get an advanced certificate, which can then also lead to them obtaining an associate's degree and then transferring to a 4-year institution if they choose. So it provides a lot of flexibility depending upon what someone may be interested in. So these 8 programs are the primary programs that we are offering with Advanced IPSI. Reason being is that there are employment opportunities in these areas. With some research we did this past year, we looked at a 25-mile radius of WCC, and there were well over 300-400 positions available corresponding with certificates that I showed on the prior screen. Also, something to be aware of if you're not, is that the mobility industry, as we know, automotive industry in Michigan has been something that has boomed for years. But we also know that there is an increase or shift to the use of electric vehicles. And so many of us, as we're driving, I know when I drive down Carpenter and I go to the Myers over there, that there are these stations where there are people that have like Teslas or other hybrid vehicles, they're hooked up. And those are EV, electrical vehicle charging stations. Well, those are things that are going to be increasing, electrical vehicles and different things increasing in the state of Michigan over the next several years. And so we need to have people who are knowing how to service those stations, people who know how the computer concepts behind those vehicles, the manufacturing aspect behind those vehicles. And so there are jobs available within some of these different industries, leading to a minimum of a $40,000 a year salary. And I say minimum because I was recently speaking to one of my colleagues, and they mentioned that in one of the automotive, I want to say it's automotive servicing position, they spoke to a local dealer, and they said that they had a position that was having someone being able to start off making $75,000 a year. And that's before they decide to do overtime. So these employment opportunities are definitely something that can help change the trajectory of a family that may be unemployed or underemployed. Opportunities for success. Our goal is not just to enroll individuals in one of the 8 certificates, but is to help them be successful. Students who choose to participate in the Advanced IPSE program, we have a dedicated person, our Career and Life Success Coordinator, Nanette Knox, who will work with them from the time of their interest all the way through their journey at WCC, helping them navigate the classes, helping them tap into various resources, helping them connect with an academic advisor or success coach if they're experiencing some various life challenges or barriers that could be hindering them from being successful. If they're needing support as it relates to, as students at the institution, if they need access to resources such as emergency grants, childcare vouchers, transportation support. We also are providing our students with career services if they're needing help with developing a resume, mock interviewing, connecting with employers and doing job shadowing, internships, etc. So this program is not just about enrolling people in WCC, but helping them be successful once they actually enroll. There's financial support, which I'll talk about here momentarily, that folks can access if they are considering and re-enrolling or enrolling for the first time in college, whether it's in one of our 8 programs or at WCC as a whole. When we're talking about eligibility, Advanced IPSE, as I mentioned initially when we launched this program, we were focusing on 2 zip codes, but recently we have expanded. So with this initiative, people should be enrolled either within a Washtenaw County high school, and if they are enrolled in one of the Washtenaw County high schools, they have to be reside in Washtenaw County. So that's the dual enrollment piece. Or they can be an adult, 18 years of age or older, and they must reside within Washtenaw County. The reason why I have an asterisk next to 18 years of age is that we sometimes have students who complete high school early, or we have individuals who complete their GED before they're 18. And so these students would, of course, still be eligible. They just wouldn't go the dual enrollment aspect of being in high school. They would enroll at WCC as an adult student. And so another aspect of Advanced IPSE outside of the age or the adult or high school student and then the residing in Washtenaw is that they have to plan to enroll in one of the programs, one of the 8 programs that I mentioned on the prior screen. So when we're talking about eligibility criteria, I won't go through every step, but just sharing if you are someone who works with high school students, or if you have individuals in your organization, if you're working with adults and they have high school age children, then they can participate in our program. They have to be enrolled at least in one course in high school. They would submit an application with us. They would get approval from the parent and the high school that they're able to take classes. We would work with them on any sort of placement testing so that they can enroll in classes. And for awareness, dual enrollment is something that is free to high school students. The approval that the high school gives ultimately is also them not only saying, yes, the student is eligible and able to enroll in dual enrollment classes, but also that they are indicating that they will cover the cost of the dual enrollment classes as well. And so, folks would want to talk with the high school to dig a little deeper into the dual enrollment steps that school has. But with our program, we would work alongside the student, their parent, and the high school with ensuring all the necessary steps are taken if they're wanting to participate in the Advanced IPSE program. Adults can enroll in WCC by completing our admissions application. That admissions application can be completed at any time as you're, sitting at home watching TV. You can pull up the WCC website and complete that admission application. It takes about 15 minutes or so to complete. We have no application fee, so they don't have to worry about that. Students aren't required to upload transcripts, but they can if they do have them on hand. They can upload their transcripts if they've taken college classes before, or their high school transcript, they can upload into the system as they're applying, but it's not required at the time of application. We would work with adults to complete the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, which I'll talk about a little bit more here in a moment. We would work with them in getting signed up for orientation, registering for classes, etc. As it relates to finances, I know whenever you think about going back to school or deciding to go to college, it's easy to see the price tag and say, I can't afford it, this is too much. But there's a number of resources that we have available for individuals wanting to take advantage of the Advanced IPSY program. We have, once again, the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. That's something that is literally a free application that you can go online to studentaid.gov and complete that application. And that will allow for us to determine what is the amount of money that the government is giving someone towards their school cost. And then there's also the Michigan Reconnect Scholarship. If you're not familiar with the Michigan Reconnect Scholarship, this scholarship initially for years has been available for individuals ages 25 and older, as long as they did not have a college degree, an associate's or a bachelor's degree, and then they completed the FAFSA, they can be considered eligible for the Michigan Reconnect Scholarship. This past October, the age was expanded to include individuals ages 21 to 24 for Michigan Reconnect. That program is open for at least a year. We're not sure if it'll continue after this fall, but it's a great resource, once again, for the state to cover some of the cost for someone to attend college. And you just don't have to attend a community college for Michigan Reconnect. It's available for, I believe, 2-year and 4-year colleges. So it's a great resource as well. The Michigan Achievement Scholarship, that was a new scholarship as of last year, provided by the state. If you have a high school student who graduated in 2023, and I know they have it again for 2024, then they could potentially be eligible for this scholarship. And once again, this scholarship is not only for a community college student, but trade school, 2-year and 4-year students could be eligible for the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. The WIOA grant, which is called the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act grant. This is a federal grant from the Department of Labor, and we work closely with Michigan Works to assist individuals with applying for that grant. All of the programs that I mentioned would be eligible for WIOA. So we just, once again, work alongside the Michigan Works team to help students complete the application, and then that could be another funding source for the education. We offer foundation scholarships through WCC. And lastly, apprenticeships. We know that there are many people who say, I need to work. I can't just quit working to go to school. So there could be a possibility with some of our programs with an apprenticeship, which is a partnership we have with an employer who says, yes, I am in full support of this individual remaining in school. And then not only that, I'm going to also pay for them to pretty much have on-the-job training while they're completing school. So that's also a financial resource. So once again, a lot of money available. We don't want finances to be a barrier as to why someone would consider going back to school. So I'm going to skip to this information. We have summer session starting soon, May 6th, and then we have a session 2 starting May 20th. We have classes that are offered in both sessions. So depending upon which program someone is interested in, we can help them with applying and getting enrolled for the appropriate session. And then for fall, our classes start August 26th for our first session, which is 15 weeks, and then September 18th for our second session, which is 12 weeks. And so if someone wants more information about the Advanced IPSY program in particular, we do have a website, and if you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our website. Or you can have someone email us. We would love to set up time to talk with them individually about their goals. We can go over the academic programs that I mentioned to share a little bit more about the specifics of those programs, how many credit hours, what are the courses that are required, and things like that based on their interest. This is the Advanced IPSY team. There's myself there, and then I have my Career and Life Success Coordinator, Nanette Knox, and then Julie Isaacs, our Community Engagement Specialist. If you have an organization who's having an event this summer, we can, or throughout the year, if you're not even having an event, if you just have an office, that we can come and set up a table and share information about Advanced IPSY, or if you have a group of people we can come and present to, we're more than happy to do that. We can do in-person presentations or virtual presentations based on the interest of the organization. A couple other programs I just wanted to quickly mention that we offer at WCC within our Workforce and Community Development Department. We have our Pharmacy Tech Boot Camp. We have a new boot camp coming up in May. That boot camp, sorry about that. That boot camp is offered on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pharmacy Tech, the people that may be interested in the program, they don't have to have any experience. The boot camp is low to no cost. We do have some ways in which we could connect individuals with financial resources if they are interested in getting more information about the boot camp. And at the completion of the program, students will be eligible to take the national certification exam to apply for the Michigan licensure to be a pharmacy technician. So if anyone is interested in sharing, getting more information about this program, you can email workforcedevelopment@wccnet.edu. And then we do have a forklift operator training coming up on May 15th for 4 hours. It's a 4-hour class. It's a total of $300 for this class, and there is financial assistance available. This, once again, is providing training on how to operate forklifts. And for individuals who are wanting that particular training and opportunity, it's another great short certificate or something training that can help secure employment as well. So I know I covered a lot of different programs and things that we have to offer, but the main thing that I would say at the end of the day is that if you are looking for a career change, if you have people that are looking for more training and certifications and things like that to enter into a job that's leading to a high wage field, then we are more than happy to provide direction. If none of the programs I mentioned are of interest, WCC has over 135 different programs, and we can always connect individuals with those the members of the team to get more information about those programs so that they can enroll accordingly. So I will stop sharing. Thank you once again for the opportunity to speak with you all today about Advanced IPSY and the other programs at WCC. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. That was wonderful. That was great. Any questions for Stephanie right now?
Yeah, yes. Can Stephanie drop her contact information in the chat again?
For sure. I will put that in the chat. And so to the question about do folks automatically get signed up for Advanced IPSY if they enroll in one of the eligible degree programs at WCC? The answer is no. We would want for them to contact us directly, because if someone just went through our regular admissions process, we wouldn't know that they signed up. So we do ask that they connect with a member of our team. So I'm going to go ahead and put my information in the chat again. Well, not again, for the first time. And then if you have folks that want more information or are interested, then we can set up time, meet with them, and then help them through the process. Great question.
Sheila, did you have a question? You had your hand up?
Yes, I wanted to ask about if somebody has a criminal background, is that a hindrance for them in terms of enrolling? Or I know one of the challenges have been finding employment, but I wanted to see if that would be an issue as it relates to, enrolling in the program, Advanced IPSY, as well as, employment.
No, so enrolling in college would not be a hindrance for them. I cannot say that as to your point that every employer will accept individuals with a record. But that's one of the things I know that our team has been working on beyond the Advanced FC team, but we have a Office of Career Services, Career Service Center at the institution. And within that office, we have a person who works directly with employers, and we do identify, if an employer is open to accepting individuals with a record, and we work through those processes accordingly. So depending upon the field, we would work with students to find an employer if they do have a record. But I know the institution has also been working, has started to work, I think, over the past couple of years with some different reentry programs as well, because we do want to support all of our residents in, continuing to move forward in their life as well. So yeah, I will definitely put my information in the chat and we can chat more.
Okay,
If you have folks interested.
thank you.
Sorry, Sheila. I'm sorry. Question, do you have supports for students with disabilities?
Yes, we do. We do have a learning resource center, and we can get students connected with that department, and they would provide work with the student on determining accommodations that are needed for classes. So yes, we do.
Christopher, did you have a question you wanted to ask? I see your
Yes, I
hand up.
did. My question was, so for the classes that you're offering at the moment, I think specifically the forklift and the pharmacy tech, if someone's from out of state and planning on moving to Washtenaw County, would that be something that would be offered to them if they were not in the state yet?
With the pharmacy tech one, I know that they have to have a valid state of Michigan identification for that one. For the forklift operator, I do not believe a residency of any sort is required. But I would definitely say, and I'm going to put the email address in the chat for my colleagues that are in workforce community development. They're the ones that are overseeing the boot camp for the pharmacy tech and the forklift. So we can always connect with them to see if there's any sort of kind of, I don't want to say, I guess I would say special dispensation for someone that is in the process of obtaining Michigan residency or something like that. I can definitely find out information.
And like to kind of like surface from there is people being undocumented, does that automatically void them from being able to try these programs because they don't have legal documentation?
No, I have not seen where we've, as an institution, that we have not allowed undocumented individuals to enroll in the programs. I think it would come down to when it's time for job placement, us, working alongside them and figuring, identifying, what they would need to start the employment piece. And we have a team that has worked with a number of students, but actually enrolling into the institution, I've not heard that there's any restrictions, hindrances, or anything like that with getting enrolled. In addition, to even speak to that piece, we do have at WCC as well, if there's individuals that are needing English as a second language support, or if they're needing GED completion, we do have an adult learner department that is focused on providing those supports as well before folks may be, if they're not comfortable yet entering into one of the certification programs, they could start there if they need either the diploma, the GED, or if they're needing ESL support.
All right, thank you so much for the information.
No problem, thank you.
How about Letitia? Do you have your hand up that you want to ask? You're muted. Unmute and say it again.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so you say that they have to have a valid state of Michigan ID. However, in the case that they are coming from, let's say they have a valid state of Michigan ID, but they're going to be moving from Detroit to Washtenaw County, and they have not moved there yet. Would they still be eligible for these programs, or do we know if these programs are outside of Washtenaw County that we could share with them?
Yeah, all of the programs that I mentioned A student doesn't have to be in Washtenaw County to enroll in the programs. They have to be a Washtenaw County resident to be specifically a part of Advanced IPSY. So WCC offers these programs for anyone who wants to enroll. Those specifically the 8 certificate programs I mentioned could be anyone across the country if they could enroll, but specifically Advanced IPSY, the additional support, some of the different some additional financial supports and things we have with Advanced IPSY, and like I said, some of the additional wraparound would be specifically for Advanced IPSY residents. But if someone just wants to enroll at WCC, enroll in one of the 8 certificate programs, they're able to do so without being a part of the program. The program just provides and they don't have to live in Washtenaw County. The program just provides some unique and intentional support services for students that they would not receive as a, general student. So yes,
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay, anybody else? I'm checking the chat. Looks good.
Thank you for all the questions, and please feel free to reach out more. And if you would like, once again, for your organization to have another presentation on this, I'm more than happy, my team and I, to provide that as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you all today.
Thank you. Thank you. This was great. Okay, next we have Brittany.
Hello.
Did you have something do you want to share the screen? Did you have, I do have your flyer, but did you have something more you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, I do have
Okay.
just a brief presentation.
Perfect. I'll let you take over.
Okay. All right. So, hello everybody. My name is Brittany Hamilton Reed. I work with Michigan Rehabilitation Services out actually in the Wayne County area, but I'm here representing the Job Developers Alliance, which is based in Washtenaw County. And so my goal today is just to share a little bit more about the Alliance, the different resources and events that we hold, but also share a little bit more about what we do and how it connects to my job as a vocational counselor with Michigan Rehab Services. So as I said, my name is Brittany Hamilton Reed. I work with MRS, or Michigan Rehab Services. I did want to kind of piggyback off of what Stephanie was stating about funding resources and the 30 by 60. A lot of those are in alignment with what MRS does as well. So supporting individuals, not just students, who are looking to advance in their careers or looking for employment. That is what MRS does, specifically for folks with disabilities. So if you know students or just your community members that are looking for employment or maybe facing some barriers in employment, MRS is a great place for those individuals to come and receive services. I don't know if there's anybody representing MRS within this group, and I can connect folks with the Ann Arbor office as well. But just wanted to lay that out there because we also provide that financial assistance for those apprenticeships or education or different training opportunities that folks are interested in. So to explain more about JDA, or the Job Developers Alliance, it is a collection of a number of different organizations and agencies based in Washtenaw County. As you can see on the screen, there's a couple of different logos and different organizations that are a part of the Alliance. MRS, the Washtenaw County Jewish Family Services, Department of Corrections, specifically a staff member in their vocational village, and some representation from Michigan Works. And there are a few more that I don't have those logos for, but we're all within Washtenaw. We work with individuals who are typically low income or facing some form of barrier, and employment is typically the number one piece that they're looking to secure, or there's some kind of concern there, that they're underemployed or not employed at all. And so our goal as an organization was to come together instead of working in kind of the silos that happens with organizations, to share resources, to make sure that we, had a point of contact, because this customer or client came to us and was talking about this specific thing, and it connected to this partner or this other organization that we had. But additionally, to bridge the gap between those job fairs or hiring events that typically happen, and some of our clientele, because of their disabilities or because of their language barriers or whatever it may be, they just don't necessarily get that opportunity, or there's a barrier of some kind. So that's kind of how JDA came about. I honestly don't know how long they've been around. I've been with JDA since 2016, but it was, I think, 5 or so years prior to that. But it's been around for a little while. We're just not as well known, apparently. So as I said, what we do is a lot of resource sharing. We meet monthly to discuss just different resources and events, or just information to pass along to the folks in some of the organizations that are part of JDA. We do a lot of partnerships and just building community with the folks in JDA, as well as the partnerships that they have with other community agencies or businesses, employers, things like that. And the core of being an advocate for our specific clientele, making sure that we're getting the resources and information out to them, and having them show up to these different events, knowing about, the Advance to IPSI, or the Safe House, the other organizations, because that sharing of information is you would think it's a lot easier now, but it's actually a lot harder, in my opinion. The biggest piece, or the piece that consumes a lot of our time, is actually organizing, like I said, those events. So we annually do a job fair, typically in the fall, where we reach out to just employers that have vacancies and are looking to fill those vacancies. So we are connecting with a lot of local businesses, holding that job fair typically in Ypsilanti, because we know that that is an area that is typically underserved, and the folks that are needing that support. We aim to place that job fair in an event or in a location that is off the bus line, understanding the barrier to transportation for some folks. And just, communicating that out, making sure that it's employers that are going to meet the needs of our clientele, specifically myself, making sure that there's understanding of the disability needs, accommodations, all that kind of stuff. The last year or so, we've ventured into more of like career fairs, or those educational pieces, understanding that there's been a huge push for increased education, specifically looking at apprenticeships or trade programs, just knowing the landscape of what that looks like for folks to earn money, as well as learn a trade or learn, a skill at the same time, as opposed to just going to school and not, or having, limited time to go to school because of the demand for income. And so this year, actually next week, we are putting together, or we're hosting an apprenticeship fair at Skyline High School. So May 1st, a week from today, from 4 to 7 p.m., we will have an apprenticeship fair. We currently have 14 employers, or like established apprenticeship businesses signed up to discuss their different programs and their opportunities that are available. While we are, gearing a lot of this towards those graduating high school seniors, it is open to the public, because we understand that there are a lot of folks who are trying to make a pivot, or, they need something that's more sustainable and longevity. And so wanting to make sure that that is clear, that it's open to public. Just because it's at a high school doesn't mean that, your cousin from around the corner, your neighbor, can't just come. So we do ask that folks register for the event, just so we understand what numbers look like. But additionally, we'll be sending out a lot of resources from those folks who are signed up to attend out to people via email. So if they can't attend, or if they don't happen to go to every single table, whatever it may look like, they still have the information, and then follow up and hopefully make that next step. towards secured employment. So I wanted to share that, and I can make sure, well, you stated that the flyer, she has the flyer, so hopefully that'll be sent out. But I can also place my contact information if there are questions, or if you all wanted to receive any other information about JDA or this event happening next week. As I stated, we meet monthly to collaborate and share information, but also to put together the various events that we hold annually. That is our email. I manage that email. So if you were to reach out to jobdevelopersalliance@gmail.com, I will follow up. But that's pretty much all I have as of right now. Are there questions or concerns? If there are organizations interested in becoming a part of JDA, I can definitely share, or we can talk more about that as well. This is just a flyer for the particular event with the QR code and the link to the registration.
This is great. Thank you, Brittany.
Yeah.
Are there any questions? Anybody wants to unmute and shout out a question? Okay.
I'm not sure if I can put the, oh yeah, I can. I'll put the flyer in the chat. I saw that in the chat.
Oh, sure. Also, I can also, what I'll do too is take this flyer and post it out to our Barry Buster listserv. So I'll get that out to everyone too. Okay. All right, well, if there's no more questions for Brittany, I'm going to take control and give you an overview of what Barry Buster's funding and such is looking like. So let me share my screen. All right, so here's what our funding looks like right now. All right, so unfortunately right now for this week, we are zeroed out on our Washtenaw County General Flexible Fund. That will, a new allocation will kick in, 14.5 will be added May 1st. And so you know, for those of you who make requests, you can put in some Encompass request for that first week of May. Last month, early May or early April, when we made the funds available April 1st, those funds did go really quickly. I think by the end of the week, I think it was maybe 5 days, and our funds were like pretty much exhausted. This is for the General Flexible Fund. So keep that in mind. If you have anybody coming in, try to get the request in to get that for review. What we do have available right now is Ypsilanti Township Fund. The criteria for this is that all residents must live in Ypsi Township to receive access to these funds. It's important to remember to check the map Washtenaw. You can find that on our Barry Buster member page, the link to this, and double check the address to make sure they're located in Ypsi Township. And then we have some more flexibility and we can use funds for their needs. For those of you that are trained in the Homelessness and Housing Immediate Impact Fund, the special training for that, right now that is down to 85,000. We're expecting that to be exhausted definitely by the end of May, if not sooner. It's going very quickly. The Ann Arbor Water Utility, this is kind of an ongoing rolling fund. So if you have folks, community members that need assistance who, again, are in Ann Arbor with Ann Arbor City Water, you can check map Washtenaw. You'll want to check that and make sure you can put in requests for that. That is a rolling and always open at any time. For the Ypsi Township, we'll allocate another 13.5 each month to fill this, to increase our 4,500. So we'll get more additional funds there. As of right now, this is what we have in the pipeline. I can't, I don't have anything coming up to speak on at the moment. But we'll just keep working with what we have in the general flexible fund when it's available. Something else I wanted to kind of mention, two things as an update for Barrier Busters. Right now, we're accepting new presentations. So we have June, August, and September open. So if your agency wants to present any new programs, or I'll go ahead and stop sharing this. If you want to present any new programs, or just talk about an overview of your program or your agency, please contact me directly and we'll get you signed up. We have, we typically do, 2-3 presentations each month. All right. I'm just checking the chat. We have some information there from Brittany. All right. So I think that wraps up for what I have. Are there any questions that I can answer? Anything about funding or about Barrier Busters?
Stacy, this is Nancy from Ann Arbor Public Schools. I have 2 questions. So if we submitted a Barrier Busters request that got denied because of lack of funds, but we could potentially have the funding start on like May 1st or May 2nd, should we just, do we go back in Encompass and like resubmit on May 1st, or how does that, or do we have to like fill out the whole thing again? I've just never had to do that, so.
Yeah, if you can just resubmit, if you can,
Okay.
if Encompass works for you to do
Okay.
that, yes, please resubmit. And that should be fine. Yeah, so those of you that do have and have been turned away because there's no funds, please go ahead and resubmit, and we'll get those reviewed. We'll get those
Okay.
reviewed the first week.
And then the other question I had is, there was this immigrant inclusion fund.
Yep.
And is that just completely exhausted as well? Because I don't see
Here's-
it listed or where that.
Yeah, we don't
is.
put that one on our list because it's a very select
Okay.
group of agencies that can access that, have permission to access that fund, and they
Okay.
typically know who they are. If your agency is one of them, and I don't know off the top of my head if it is or not, but yes, I can tell you that that fund is dwindling down to just a couple thousand. I haven't looked, I didn't look specifically at that one today when I was pulling these numbers, but I do know from last week it was very low.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions? Okay. Well, just also a reminder, if you do have any questions for Barrier Busters, always reach out to the DL Barrier Buster staff email. We all go on rotation and we want to be able to answer your questions and anything that you have to share with us. We want to get to you in a good, timely manner. So please use that email when reaching out to us. And it goes to all of us here at Barrier Busters. Okay. So if there's no more questions, I think we can close up, and I will see you all next month. Bye. Bye. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you so much.
This was great. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's good to see everybody name coming back each month.